Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Expert Conversations with me, Emee, here in Self Publishing Made Simple. And for today, I'm really very excited to talk to our special guest today. He's a really good friend of mine, and he's quite a celebrity in the Philippines. And he's here to talk about his experiences of writing and publishing his book. But if I can just read his amazing bio, you'll be so impressed with the records that he's holding at the moment. So he's a global master coach and the best-selling author of the hashtag Best Me Ever book series, known to be a celebrity life coach in the Philippines and the personal coach to celebrities and top executives globally. He is a radio talk show host and currently holds the record of being the Filipino with the most number of TEDx talks given locally and internationally. This made him one of the most in-demand resource persons and subject matter experts across print, radio, TV, and multimedia platforms, and as a go-to speaker trainer of companies and academia alike. So exciting. He's just everywhere, right? And so inspiring. If you haven't read this book, I mean, you'll have like a really happy glow on your face after reading his book. So I'm really excited to talk to him today. Number one international best-selling author, Myke Celis. Mike, good morning.
Good morning. Hi, Emmy, and hi to everyone watching. I hope you're doing well.
Mike, I'm so excited to have this conversation. I mean, from your track record, it's so impressive that you've accomplished so many things in this particular career, because I know that you've accomplished a lot of other things even before pursuing your career as a global master coach and best-selling author and your PR and your books and so on. But before we get into that, tell us a little bit about your background first, who you are, what you do, and how you got, to what you are doing now.
Okay, so my previous life was I was an advertising and marketing executive for 17 years. You know that life suddenly throws you a curveball, and that made me shift to my current career right now as a global master coach. Uh, After achieving so much success in my previous industry, and then it felt empty when I reached the top. So I am one of those people who came from grit, from anger, and wanting to prove myself for so long. And when I hit the top and felt that way, immediately I spiraled down to my rock bottom. Apart from the fact that I had so many unfortunate um, circumstances to face during the time, which made me rethink the space I was in. And so I took a break from that and started teaching in graduate school, of which my students were telling me that, you remind me of Oprah, you remind me of Ellen, of Tony Robbins, and all those stuff. And I'm like, I got confused because during that time, I was also writing my book. And I also started using the hashtag Best Me Ever as my way of coping with everything that I was experiencing during the time. But instead of ranting on Facebook back then, I was posting all the lessons I learned from my bad experiences.
Mm.
And that actually resonated with a lot of people, including my publisher here in the Philippines, who stalked me on Facebook and gave me the opportunity to publish everything that I post into a book. And that started the hashtag Best Me Ever series,
Yes,
of
it's a
which,
mm.
yeah, after launching that one, that was also the first step for me to actually embrace my true calling of becoming a life coach. And 4.5 years later, here I am now as a global master coach.
That's amazing. So your journey, you're actually going with the flow. You're going to where life is taking you, and there's not a lot of resistance. So that's why it's just flowing, and it's all happening for you. And one thing after another from your previous career, and having all the challenges, and you pivot, you shift, you do all sorts of
Mm-hmm.
things, and it led you to where you are now, and you have all these speaking engagements and
Uh-huh.
all these. You're everywhere. I go on social media, you're on print, you're on radio, you're on the stage, you're just traveling and representing the Philippines on the TEDx stage and in international stages. So what is it like to be able to step up, share your message, and tell everyone what's to inspire others with your message?
I've always believed that I I am very fortunate to be given the opportunity to do so, because not everyone would be given that life-changing opportunity to inspire others and change lives at the very moment that you speak. My books are also a testament of that one. All the the messages I get on my Facebook page, among others, have really made me realize that, hey, there's a purpose behind this. And it makes me happy at the end of the day, no matter how tired I am from coaching, from speaking, from hosting, from writing. Because knowing that somewhere out there, someone's life was changed because of what I do makes me feel that I've done my job and makes me feel happy, complete, and fulfilled.
Wonderful. And it's a really purpose driven, that willingness to serve and inspire
Mm-hmm.
others that's really fueling what you are doing now, whether it is in your coaching or your books or your speaking. It's that purpose driven, focus on serving and inspiring others that's really fueling your actions right now.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I'm lucky. I always tell this in my interviews that the way I define my success right now, because before when you're younger, you define it by how much you earn and what title you have. Right now, I define my success that I am able to do all the things that I want in my terms with the resources that are provided to me. And every single day doesn't even feel like work. It feels like
Yes.
I'm living the life that I've always wanted.
It's really free. It's quite liberating to have that mindset that you're actually setting your own standard of success, and what success means to you really is having that freedom, having that autonomy to do what makes your heart sing, and you're actually doing that.
Exactly. I'm a living testament to all those people who feel stuck, regardless of their age, that the moment you decide that you want to change your life, as long as you commit to it, much like writing a book, much like launching a bestseller, you can actually make it happen. Never in my wildest dreams that I have thought that I would become a number one best-selling author in Amazon, but here it is right now with your help.
Well, let's talk about that, because actually, even before you launched your book on Amazon, you are already a number one best-selling author in the Philippines. Your books are
Mhm.
traditionally published. You have a publisher who's
Yeah.
put your books in bookstores. Nationally, you're a best-selling author in the
Mhm.
Philippines. What made you decide to also pursue Amazon and try to make it to the bestseller list on Amazon as well?
Uh-huh. Okay. So Christmas last year, this is my eternal story. Christmas last year is the time when I was reflecting and I was asking myself, because New Year is fast approaching, what's next for me? And the only thing that came to mind was that, honey, go global. You're already
Mm.
making waves where you are. And after exposing myself and attending classes, certification programs abroad, I realized that so many other people resonated with me, with different races, of different statuses. But that feeling of connectedness made me want to experience more and share a part of myself to the rest of the world. So starting January, my mindset was go global, go global, go global. When it comes to the book writing part, I knew that my books were distributed here locally in the Philippines and that they're doing well. However, my publisher only distributes here.
Mm.
I love my publisher, don't get me wrong. I love my publisher, and he has opened doors for me with the first three books that I published. However, in my heart, I knew that I had a space to occupy somewhere out there in the world. And I had an offer to write a book and get published in Vietnam. But
Mm.
because of the COVID lockdown, it was put on hold.
Mm.
So I I was thinking during the COVID lockdown, I cannot, let go of my dream. It has to happen.
Mm.
And you came along. And I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I need to be working with the most credible person in the room. I need to be working side by side with someone who knows her stuff, someone I can be comfortable with, because I know how I work. When I say I am committed to this, and you can attest to that, I would deliver. I would definitely deliver on schedule whatever is needed.
Mm.
And I'm the type of person who would ask you a lot of questions because I'm not shy to admit that I don't know this.
Mm.
Self-publishing was not my comfort zone. In fact, I don't have any idea on how to do it because in my previous life as a an author, I just give my manuscript to my publisher and he does everything.
Mm.
And I just get paid my royalties. But this time around, I had to do everything from scratch. It was a life changing experience and a very humbling one as well. But what I can tell you definitely though is after all those, and when you see that orange badge, that elusive orange badge that everyone else, if you're an author, is, uh, craving for, it changes you. And it's the best experience ever.
Yes, that's wonderful, Mike. And I can totally relate to that. I mean, as an author, we know our stuff, we know how to write.
Mm-hmm.
That's the easy part. And if you
Yeah.
have a traditional publisher, you can just write your stuff, hand it over to the publisher, and
Mm-hmm.
they deal with everything. The editing, the cover design, the formatting, the distribution, the pricing, all of these other things. You really need to wear a different hat on. Inside the Get It Done challenge, we actually do split the program
Mm-hmm.
into two. The first part is the writing part. That's when you get to be the author, you get to be creative, you pour your heart and soul
Uh-huh.
trying to write the best book ever, best me ever,
Mm-hmm.
best book
Yeah.
ever. But after you've written your work, you take off your hat, take another one, and you have your publishing and marketing hat on, because even if you have the best book, even if you've written an absolute masterpiece, if you don't know how to position your book in the market, if you don't have a strategy
Mm-hmm.
to launch your book on Amazon, it's going to drown. There are millions of books on there, and the last thing you'd want to happen is to have this book, you're so proud of it, it's the best thing ever, and people couldn't find it because you actually didn't have a
That.
strategy and you don't know how to navigate yourself on
Mm-hmm.
Amazon. So it was actually really, I was so excited when you did reach out. It's like, oh, finally, Mike, finally. Because I've seen how well you are doing in the Philippines, and I've seen how amazing your books are. And you've got so much potential to tap into the international market, and Amazon opens that door for you because you're basically putting your brand in front of the
Yeah.
millions of readers on Amazon around the world.
And can I just be honest about this? When before we even engage into this agreement of of launching my newest bestseller, I was actually scared. It was coming from a space of fear that what if my book doesn't do well? What if it doesn't become a bestseller? I already have two of which are bestsellers locally, but this is a different territory altogether. But you know what? After day one, when it was launched, and after I've seen the reviews from people I don't even know from all over the world, it was such an amazing experience to finally validate the thought that I had that somewhere out there are also other unicorns reading my book and resonating with it
I
and
know,
hopefully
but
changing their lives as
I
well.
I had all I trusted you with your book, Mike. Because when we started with this project, you gave me a copy of your book, and it's like, oh
Mhm.
my goodness, I was like crying. It's like, oh, this is so wonderful. It's not like it's not it's not just another self-help book, because I've
Mm-hmm.
seen a lot of love letters in that book. It's like, ooh,
Yeah.
but it's love letters to yourself, and they are so
Mm-hmm.
refreshing, and that you're actually teaching your readers how to write love letters to themselves. And the
Mm-hmm.
ones that you've written to yourself, that's essentially, that covers the most part of your book. You're actually sharing the letters, those notes, love notes
Mm-hmm.
that you've written to yourself, and they are so heartwarming. They are so, it reminds us that we are human, that we need to actually
Mm-hmm.
embrace and appreciate all aspects of ourselves, and not just the good things, but also your past. That you have to embrace your flaws, and to
Mm-hmm.
be proud of it, and to actually look into the future. You're writing love letters to your past self, to your present self, and to your future self. It's
Mm-hmm.
absolutely fantastic. And I have to say, with the print version as well. I mean, I know that you have the Kindle version, and you also have the print version, the doodles.
Yeah.
The There's something about the pages of your book that has this really positive vibe. I can
Mm-hmm.
I can really sense that you want to help others. You have, it really does have that energy of positivity. And
Mm-hmm.
I just got so excited when I read your book. And I knew that even when you were doubting, even when you were scared, I reassured you, Mike, don't worry. I can guarantee you will be number one, because first of all, we're following a system. Everybody who goes through that system gets to number one.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, because you have the resilience, you have the mindset, the attitude that you'll do whatever it takes
Mm-hmm.
to make it happen. The system is not it's okay. I call it self-publishing made simple, because I've tried to make it as
Mm-hmm.
simple as possible. But there are so many steps, there are so many moving parts involved, that you need to have this willingness to learn. You need to have this humility as well, to trust the
Uh-huh.
process. Because if you think that you know everything, and you do your own stuff, it's not gonna work. So what I've
Yeah.
noticed is that, people like you who have that mindset that, okay, I'm going to do this. There are a lot of things to learn. You have that willingness to learn, and the
Mm-hmm.
humility as well to trust the process. And you did the work, you had the mindset, you got on with it, and look where it got you. Number one international bestseller on Amazon.
I know, right? I mean, for most people, I guess, especially for those who have been writing all their lives, just one tip: do away with the ego. I had to set aside my bestsellers because I knew I wanted to start from scratch. I would want to be a sponge to absorb everything. And Emmy knows this. Like, I ask questions every now and then, even if she's not online, she would see my questions because I wanted to know, because I wanted to learn, and I wanted to apply. And that was the only thing that made everything so special, that every single day, even as a published author, even as a best-selling author locally, it was a humbling experience, and yet very rewarding in the end, to see your book being purchased by a lot of people from all over the world, and getting all those messages and the reviews that are truly, truly, truly heartwarming.
Absolutely. I mean, the impact and influence that you have. Because and for me, when I read your book, I felt I really have to help Mike get this out, because you're going to inspire and help so many people. There are people who need to read your book. Yeah, and as I've said, when I read, it's like I was crying, I was laughing, I was glowing. It's like I feel everything. It's like, oh my god.
And if I can just share about that, when I started writing my books, the first thought in my mind was that, how would I want to read one? Why would I want to read one? I've read a lot of self-help books before, and what I've noticed was that the author positions himself as an authority. This is how it's supposed to be done, and then you do it your way. What I wanted to do was break that barrier. I am one with you. Let's journey together. And that made magic happen. That's where you're getting
Oh,
all those feels. And
yeah.
it works for
Yeah, that's absolutely the feeling that I got
me.
from your book, that there was compassion, there was empathy. You
Mhm,
know, it's like, I see you, I've been there too. Let's
mhm,
go together, and let's go through this healing process. You know, it's just so wonderful, Mike. And that's really why I was so, inspired. I was so motivated to help you to get your book out there. The
mhm.
Philippine market is different. It's a different stage to be in the Philippine market and to put your book out there globally. And I mean, Mike, you were even number one in Germany, outranking Chicken Soup for the Soul. I mean, come
I
on.
know, right? And I used to read Chicken Soup for the Soul way back then in 2013. I have like 20 books. And that was so amazing. I'm like, what? And my reaction was, oh my God.
How did this happen?
Yeah, exactly.
But yes,
One,
it's the process. We had to go through the process. And I'm really fortunate that you're one of those people who's willing to learn, who's willing to put in the work, who has the
mhm,
mindset that, okay, there are challenges. There
mhm,
are things that might not go according to plan. Like, we were having
mhm.
problems with the payment, like with the
Yeah.
what you call, because you're in the Philippines. The
Mhm.
payment processing is different. We
Uh-huh.
had to go through the categories, the keyword research. There are a lot of moving parts when
Mhm.
publishing a book. And some of these things, some authors would just upload their book, publish it, and cross their fingers, and
Yeah.
and actually beg their friends and family to download their books and leave
Uh,
reviews, when they launch. But actually, in your case, you did all of the work before you published. You organized the launch team, a lot of
mhm.
preparations going on in the background. And actually, by the time you told your family and friends, you were already number one.
On Mother's Day, it was the best gift I ever had for my mom and my aunt, who are the two most special women in my life. And they cried because of, it was really a surprise. If I may add, creating your own launch team is one very humbling experience, so to speak, because you would be talking to people you don't even know, and you cannot guarantee whether they would give you a good review or not. You can only hope for the best. But you know what? You let your work speak for itself, and I'm glad it did.
Yeah, I was confident that you will get all these, amazing reviews because of the work that you produced. And you're right, the work will speak for itself. And as far as Amazon goes, you're actually not allowed to ask close friends and family
Mm,
members. That's not allowed. You're not supposed to bribe your readers.
yes.
And in terms of, yeah, organizing the launch team, you're not allowed to say, you have to leave 5-star reviews. You have to ask them,
Yeah.
leave honest reviews. There's
Mm-hmm.
no, and there's even no obligation. Your launch team, they're not obliged to leave the
Exactly.
reviews. They have to do this voluntarily, because those are the Amazon rules. But yeah, in your case, even with all the hurdles that some
Mm-hmm.
people in the Philippines, for example, they still don't have an Amazon account. Their
Yes.
accounts are not eligible. There are so many challenges. And that's why the preparation, the time frame from publishing your book to actually launching, you have that gap where you have to sort all of those out, because there might be
Yeah.
some challenges to face and things to fix before you
I
launch.
know. That was actually one of the biggest hurdles because most of my followers, majority of my followers are from the Philippines. And they don't have Amazon accounts, for goodness sake. And they don't even have Kindle, so to
Mm.
speak, to begin with. So in my head, I was just simply praying that, oh, please make this a bestseller. I know that somewhere out there, someone would get to read this. And, when I check on the dashboard and see purchases from Australia, from Germany, from UK, and of course from the US and all over, it's such an amazing experience.
It's quite humbling to see that your book is out there, and people from
Yeah.
all over the world are reading it. And it's going to continue because now that you've got your orange badge, and if you keep the momentum and knowing how you work,
Mhm.
I mean in terms of your PR and your marketing, you're just everywhere. And people will hear more about your work. You'll add more books in your portfolio on Amazon. It's just going to continue to grow. You start with this one on Amazon. I know you already have books in the
Mhm.
Philippines, but you start off with one on Amazon and you keep
Mhm.
building your profile. And the more books you have on your platform, the more momentum you will have. And I know that you've triggered the Amazon algorithm. Amazon will keep promoting your book because
Mhm.
Amazon has, they've seen that your book has value, that
Mhm.
people are downloading your books, that they are leaving all these amazing reviews, and it is in the best interest of Amazon to promote books like
Mhm.
yours that are actually providing value, giving fantastic customer experience, if you like. And if you do well, Amazon will do well as well. So it's actually win-win for
Yeah,
both
it
parties.
actually inspired me. This experience actually inspired me to, write my next few books, which I already have in the pipeline. Also, initially I was planning to, to launch it here in the Philippines, but then when I saw the opportunity globally, and it's very much aligned with my vision, uh, it's all about, going global. So might as well do it. So before the year ends, another one, definitely.
Yes, let's go for it. And I love that you have this vision. You couple it
Mm-hmm.
with action, with the right attitude. You have
Mm-hmm.
strategy and you have support as well. And all of these ingredients combined, it's just, led you to this success. And I know that you will go onwards and upwards and just make it, a huge success internationally. You're already mega big, mega big in the Philippines. Like you're already a celebrity coach in the Philippines, but I know that you'll do wonders and you'll expand even more with this right mix of vision, action, the right attitude, mindset, strategy, and support. All of these key ingredients you actually hold.
I'd like to reiterate that very important fact wherein you mentioned how crucial it is to have a very strong support group. This is where I have people like yourself, my foreigner friends, my coaches from all over the world who were rallying for me. I'm like, guys, thank you. I had one coachee who bought 4 paperbacks for his family. And I'm like, what? Why do you need four? No, I just wanted to support you. So it was,
Oh,
the little things like those, and all those who have been, part of my journey when I was starting to penetrate the global stage in TEDx. They've also gotten their copies and they were reposting it on their sites. So I'm like, thank you very much. I'm also lucky here in the Philippines that I'm given media interviews every now and then, and several platforms across multimedia to actually share my story and share this journey. So hopefully anytime soon you would see something about this journey of ours. And of course, not only does the world deserves to know what beautiful and amazing person you are for helping create bestsellers in Amazon, but the Philippines, where you were from originally, deserves to know you more.
oh,
Thank
that's
you.
wonderful. Well, I really appreciate this conversation, Mike, and I'm sure that it inspired so many of our members to actually, yes, pursue it. It can be quite scary, as you've said. You were actually quite scared that you might not make it to number one bestseller. You already have a track record of bestsellers
Mm-hmm.
locally in the Philippines, but there's this still, thought that, oh, I'm not sure,
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared, and that's absolutely normal. It's
Yeah.
actually good that you're able to recognize this fear, but instead of being paralyzed by this fear, you actually did reach out for support. You recognize
Mm-hmm.
that you might have some limitations in your knowledge and skills, that you
Mm-hmm.
don't know everything, and so you did reach out to someone me who knows how
Mhm.
to do Amazon launches, and that humility, that mindset, that attitude, that willingness to learn and apply, what you've learned and make things happen. And it did happen. The strategy works. You've done the work. You've and you have the support. I think that pleasant personality of yours
Mhm.
actually really did help as well, because yeah, even if you have like the best book ever, and if you don't know how to position yourself in the marketplace, and if you don't have the support of others because you're this egotistic, it's like,
Uh-huh.
if you have that personality that people just wouldn't want to support you, it wouldn't be successful. But for you, as you are right now, it's just, you're so engaging, you're so supportive, you have this positivity, and it reaps the benefits. People are willing to support and help you out because you have that attitude yourself.
Can I just add to that that when I was starting with my journey, the core essence of hashtag best me ever is anchored on authenticity. And across media platforms, whether I'm writing, I'm hosting, I'm speaking, the way I talk to you right now is the way I present myself. Okay, so every time they read my book, I would get messages as if I am hearing you speak, as if I was watching you live. So that makes it very personal. And I think that's also very important so that people would get to know the author behind the bestseller. Because at the end of the day, it's not the book that they would hold on to, it's you as a person. And that's the only way they could connect if you remain true to yourself.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you very much, Mike. Before we end, do you have any final parting words to our members who might be thinking about their books, writing and launching it, to number one bestseller on Amazon? Do you have any words to them?
Mm-hmm. Okay, just go for it, guys. Don't overthink. Like, go for it, commit to it, and always remember that whatever space you're in right now, whether you're just starting, already have a draft, or whatsoever, if you feel stuck, okay, don't worry. It's okay. You're on your way to become your own hashtag best me ever and a global bestseller.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Mike. So inspiring as always. And thank you everyone for tuning in today. I hope that you found value from this conversation with Mike. As you've seen, and I already said this earlier, that he actually does have a lot of ingredients in his bowl, that led him to his success. He has this vision. He has this fire, as you can see, this positivity as well. He has the right mindset, the right attitude, that willingness to learn, that willingness to be vulnerable as well. Accept that, yeah, there are some things that he needs to that he needs help with, and he wasn't afraid to ask for help. He learned, he did the work, he had the strategy, he had support, all of these amazing things, all combined together. And look where he is now, number one international best-selling author on Amazon. So thanks again, Mike, and thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll catch up again next time for another expert conversations here in Self-Publishing Made Simple. Until then, take care and bye for now. Thanks, Mike.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye-bye.